सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Good evening and good morning. Welcome back. We will continue our discussion on Mundaka Upanishad. Today we are going to see the third session. So before we get started, let's request Anu to do the invocation, the Shanti Mantra of the Atharva Veda, of which Mundaka Upanishad is also a part of. So let's listen to the Shanti Mantra and then we will proceed.
Om Bhadram Karine Bhishunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashye Makshabhirya Jatra Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubhihi Vyashema Deva Hitayadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedah Swasti na Starkshyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you, Anu. Live chanting is always great. So with that Shanti Mantra, which is a prayer to Ishvara, to give us, to bless us with longevity, health, and intelligence. With that prayer, let's get into the Upanishad. So we were discussing about the Mundaka Upanishad, the summary of the Mundaka Upanishad. We went through the Prathama Mundaka. Prathama Mundaka had two different topics which we covered earlier. We had the introduction and we had the Brahma Vidya Samkshepaha. And also we talked about the different types of knowledge, Paravidya and Avaravidya. And then we went into chapter 2, which is known as Mundaka 2. In the Prathama Kanda of the Mundaka, we start Mundaka 2. We started with the first topic, which is Srishti Prakriya. So we'll continue, because if you take the Mundaka Upanishad, second chapter is the key chapter of this Mundaka Upanishad. First chapter is introduction, and the final chapter is also not that difficult topic. But the essence of the Vedanta is very well conveyed in the second Mundaka. So this topic is not so easy, but with a little bit of attention, definitely we can get it. And if you don't get it, please message offline or let's discuss at the end during the Q&A, because this is Vedanta. And you're studying the highest order of spirituality. So this is not like an ordinary stotra or any simple ritual or meditation. This is the highest teaching. So since the topic is of that highest order, it appears to be a little bit complicated. But if you pay attention, it is not that complicated also. That is the beauty of this. So Srishti Prakriya is what we have been discussing. It's not very complicated again. Srishti means the manifestation of whatever you see, whatever you can think of. It is not the physical world alone. Whatever you can see in your mind, intellect, internal world or external world is Srishti. And any Srishti, any creation or any manifestation implies two things. One is there has to be some material and there has to be an intelligence behind that creation. So what we saw in the last session, let me show that also. What we saw was everything in this universe, everything. We specifically, the Upanishad calls out the sun and the moon and the stars, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the ocean, everything you can imagine, the building block of that, the essence of that is a fundamental substratum. And that substratum is represented by a variable called Om, and it is known as Brahman or the absolute reality. So don't think Brahman is something mystical or anything like that, but Brahman is the essence of everything. If you take that Brahman away, or that X, because the moment I say Brahman, you get a lot of other ideas. So let's put X for the simplicity. Let's say that the fundamental substratum of everything you can think in this universe is X. And if you take that X, nothing exists. Let me give you a very simple example, a modern example for you to understand this concept. Imagine that you are in a movie theater. A movie is running on the screen. In that movie, you see a tiger, you see a chase, a horse ride, you see a mountain, you see a car, you see hundreds of human beings, everything coming and going. And it is so dynamic. Millions of different objects you can see in the screen. But if you really think about it, what is that fundamental substance from which the whole scenes were created on the screen? Isn't it light? Do you see directly the light? Absolutely not. But what is that fundamental substance by which the human being is made? It is light. What is that big tree in the screen? What exactly is the fundamental substance by which the light means the tree is made of? Again, it is light. What is that ocean? Again, it is light. So it is the essence of that whole visual experience is light. And millions of expressions, different manifestations are there. But essentially they are light in different form. So I can say that the whole scene, if you watch a Bahubali kind of movie, the palaces, everything are effects. And what is the cause? The cause is light. So all the effects, every scene, every human, everything in the screen has one source, that is light. Second thing is, whatever is in the screen, effects are plural. Nothing but the cause itself in a different form. The palace is light in a different form. Palace is light in a different form. The king is light in a different form. The moon you see in the movie itself is a light in a different form. So everything is a modification of light. If you take the light completely away, what remains? If the power goes, nothing. The palace is gone, everything is gone. So the existence of the whole visual experience is because of light. Really speaking, the real existence of that movie is light. So like that, the real existence of everything we see is an X factor. Just like you cannot see light directly in the object, but you can always imply that that is what is giving existence and existence to all that means movie. Like that, this X factor, call it Om, call it Brahman, or call it X if you like. That fundamental reality is known as Brahman or the absolute reality. The literal meaning of the word Brahman is Brihi Vritayet, that which perverts everywhere, that which is the biggest in the universe. So if you really perverts everywhere, that also understand if you really think about this movie example. In this movie example, can you find one thing that covers everything represented in the screen? It's only light. So like that, the Brahman exists in and through everything you can see, you can perceive in the universe. This is the Srishti Prakriya. So this is not something somebody created out of nothing. The whole universe emerged out of Brahman. The whole universe exists in Brahman. And finally, when the universe is gone, it merges back to Brahman. So this is one aspect of Brahman, and this is the Srishti Prakriya we talked about. The beauty is that modern science cannot say anything against this. So the conventional creation theories were thrown away or grilled when the scientists grilled that conventional creation theory. This is logical. That's one of the biggest beauty. So now let's continue. The next topic we are going to see is Sat Eva Brahma. Sat Eva Brahma is the topic. That is what we have been seeing. So we said the fundamental substratum of the universe is Brahman, the reality. So just like what you see in the movie, everything is light. Second example, what you can see is in a dream. In a dream, these are means one example, it's a made up example, we made it up, but the second example is a traditional example, Swapna Drishtanta. In the dream, when you sleep, you see hundreds of people, hundreds of situations, hundreds of objects. Everything you see in the dream is nothing but your own mind. What pervades in all that dream? It's your own mind. So like that, Brahman, the reality, pervades everything in the universe. So please keep this example in mind. So let's talk about the relationship between Brahman and the universe. So we said Brahman. The word Brahman, please don't make it confused to you, because a lot of people thought Brahman as something else, and that is why the confusion comes in. So let's assume it is Om or X. If there is a cause for the universe, fundamental cause of the universe, let's call it as Brahman. It is the cause of everything. Just like the light is the cause of the entire movie, just like your mind stuff is you are the cause of the entire dream. The whole dream exists in you. The dream objects are nothing but you. And once the dream is ended, all the dream objects were stay in the unmanifested form in you. So everything in the universe is nothing but Brahman in a different form. Remember the 3 laws we discussed last time? Every effect will have a cause. Apply that. Everything in the universe, whether it is the plant, animal, or human, everything has a cause called Brahman. Second thing is what? Effects are. The whole means the plants, animal, or human are nothing but Brahman in a different form. And third is what? If you take the cause from the effect, nothing remains. If you take the light away from the movie doesn't exist. If you take yourself away from that dream, the dream doesn't exist. Because you are the one who gave life to the dream. The dream is happening in you, and the dream is nothing but you. So the reality, the Brahman, is the cause of everything. This is the relationship between Brahman and universe. The only difference is that the universe is completely dependent upon Brahman, and the Brahman is not dependent upon the universe. That is a difference. You as an individual is not dependent upon the dream, but the dream is completely dependent upon you. The gold is not dependent upon the golden ornament, but the golden ornament depends upon gold for its existence. So the truth, the God, whatever name you call, it doesn't matter. That reality, the truth, is the absolute existence. We are going to see these aspects now. The Upanishad is very clear in each one of these things. So a few more points. The Upanishad tells Brahman is the cause of the universe, and the universe is an effect. And the cause is one, the effects are plural. There could be multiple universes, there could be multiple substance in the universes, but everything, the cause is only one. So the third one, the Brahman is absolute, the universe is relative. What does that mean? The universe has a beginning and an end, but the underlying reality doesn't have a beginning and an end. The golden ornament, the gold was there before the ornament exists. And if you whatever you do with the gold, the ornament, suppose you change the ring to a chain, still the gold exists. So that is why it is not abadidam, absolute. Whereas everything else is relative. And the last thing is, the Brahman has independent existence. Brahman doesn't need the world for its existence, whereas the world needs Brahman for its existence. This is the point. This is an important point. So let's try to understand this one more time. Brahman, or the absolute reality, or what you represent with the keyword Om, is the cause of everything in the universe. It's not that the cause came from the effect, the effect came from the cause independently out of it. No. It is the Brahman, or the reality, that gives existence to the entire universe. And Brahman is the cause, the universe is the effect. Brahman is one, the universe is many. And Brahman is absolute, the universe is relative. Brahman has an independent existence, universe has a relative existence. Now it's time for introducing two technical terms here. Right. So let's understand that. So let's take the movie example for a minute. Let's say that you are sitting in a movie theater, you're enjoying this fantastic movie with tremendous, stunning visuals. Right? What you can directly see, logically, you all know that what you see in the screen is nothing but light. But what you are seeing on the screen is not light. If you really look for light, you won't see that light in the screen. You see only objects in the screen. So whatever you have direct perception, this aspect is known as immanent. We are borrowing the Greek logic. There are two terms. One is called transcendent. Second one is called immanent. So the Brahman, you do not have a direct experience. You cannot see Brahman using with your eyes, ears, nose, skin, nothing. But you can see the manifestations of Brahman in the form of the universe. So what we are saying is that we have access only to Karya Prapancha, right? The Prapancha or the universe is Karyam, whereas the Brahman or the reality is Karanam. So we have access only to this Karya Prapancha. In other words, we do not have access to the Karanam Brahma. This is an important point because this is very important to understand the Upanishads. So we said Brahman is the cause of the universe. Brahman is the Karanam. The universe, Prapancha, is the Karyam. And we also saw that Karanam Brahma appears as the Karya Prapancha. So if I'm using more Sanskrit, please tell me, but I already explained this in English. So I'm translating that into Upanishad language. So Upanishad tells Jagat Karanam Brahma. The cause of the universe is Brahman. And the Upanishad tells Prapancha Karyam. Prapancha Karyam Brahma. The Karyam, the effect is Prapancha, and Brahman is the Karanam. And then we said Karanam only appears as Karyam, right? So the universe is nothing but Brahman appearing as the universe. That's it. And then the Upanishad tells Eka Karanam Aneka Karyam Bhavayati. Eka Karanam, the cause is only one, whereas the effects are many. The universe and its manifestations are many, but the cause is only one. And then the Upanishad also tells Nama Bheda, Rupa Bheda, Karma Bheda happens only in the Karyam. There is no Bheda in the case of Karanam. And we said Karanam Stotantraha. Brahman, he has an independent existence, whereas the world has a dependent existence only. And we also said what we have access is only the Karya Prapancha. And what we want to know here, remember, we started with saying that Kasminno Vijnade Sarvamidam Vijnadam Bhavati. What exactly is that reality I need to know? I am seeking the Karanam Brahma, but what is the struggle here? I don't have access to Karanam Brahma. I have access only to Karya Prapancha. This Karya Prapancha is known as immanent aspect of Ishvara or the Lord, and the Karanam Brahma is known as transcendental aspect of the God. So the God, you can say that you can see the God in two different angles. One is the transcendental nature of the God. Second one is the immanent nature of the God. So this idea comes in the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, which we are going to start in 2 weeks in detail. But this is very important. What is the meaning of immanent? It is directly accessible to you. What is transcendental? It cannot be directly accessible to you. That's all it means. That's not complicated. So just like you cannot easily spot the light in the movie, whereas the whole scenes of the movie is easily visible to you, the scenes of the movie can be called as immanent aspect of the light, whereas the source light, that powerful source of the light behind the projector, is the transcendental aspect. In your dream, you cannot spot your mind stuff as the cause of everything, whereas your consciousness is the dream, but you cannot see that in the dream. But definitely you have access to the whole dream objects, but you do not have access to the dream, the cause of the dream, which is the consciousness in you. So like that, when in that case, you can say that your own consciousness is the transcendental aspect of the dream, whereas whatever you see in the dream as the immanent aspect of the dream. So in this particular case, in our enquiry of the Upanishad, what we are trying to see is, we are trying to seek that transcendental aspect of Ishvara. But the challenge is, the Upanishad Rishi tells, oh child, the problem is your tools, your skills will help me only to access the Karya Prapancha, and what you are looking is Karanam Brahma. So now the question is, how can I access, how can I understand, how can I see the Karanam Brahma through the Karya Prapancha? That is the goal of the Upanishad. Let's continue. So now the question is, let's say that you are looking for something, right? Let's say that you want to find something. Even let's say that I remember when we were child, I mean, in our childhood, you see advertisement in the newspapers, like a child is missing. How do they put? They put some lakshana of the child. They say that this is the face cut. Even here you see, right? A pet is missing, which is a common message that you get. So they what do they do? They say that, okay, this is a lab mix. This has like a color is this. This is wearing this collar. So now what we are doing is, we are trying to look for something. But how do we look for something? We need to know some lakshana or some characteristics of what we are looking for. So that's what the Upanishad is making very clear. When you are looking the Karya Karanam Brahma through the Karya Prapancha, what exactly you need to look for? 4 characteristics are given. This is brilliant. If you really think about this, this portion of the Upanishad is fantastic. It's the spiritual beauty. So the Upanishad tells, whenever you see something in the universe, look for these 4 characteristics. If anything in the universe meets this condition, understand that that is Brahman. First thing is Ekam. You need to find what you are looking for in everything in the universe. If you can see that in a plant and not in an animal, that is not Brahman. Right? If you see that in plant and animal and missing in the earth, that is not Brahman. So anything you can find in the universe should have this particular aspect. Right? So that's point number 1. Ekatvam. Look for that Ekatvam. Oneness. That is making your job more difficult, right? Because the mic is different from the computer is different from pen is different from the table is different from the book. So I need to find that one common factor which is there in everything I can think of. So that's point number 1. Look at the mode of inquiry. This is so beautiful. Second thing is Nityam. So Nityam means this should stay always. If I take a pen, the pen has a beginning and this pen has an end. So that means Brahman is not sitting in the form of pen. It is sitting in the form of something else. So your inquiry should spot that. Correct? So you're looking for the absolute reality of the movie. Okay, you think that, okay, in the movie there were some brick. If you see an image of a palace, that is the only scenes coming in the movie. You think that the brick is the cause? Yeah, Ekatvam, it is satisfying at least for that scene, but next scene it is gone. That doesn't fit. It has to be there always. That which is always present. Not first one is Ekam, second one is Nityatvam. The third one, Satyam. That which independently exists. It should not be dependent upon another thing for its existence. So if I take this pen, what exactly it is dependent for its existence? Some atoms. And what exactly that atom depends upon? Something else. Subatomic particle. Then it depends upon something. So what is that one thing which is, Swami Chinmayananda's words, uncaused cause, or the most fundamental reality of everything? And the last one is Sarvagatatvam. So Ekatvam, Nityatvam, Satyatvam, Sarvagatatvam. Sarvagatatvam means what? It should not just present here, it should present here everywhere. So whatever is that, this is the mode of inquiry. If anything in the universe satisfies these four conditions, know that that is Brahman. So very soon you'll realize what? Nothing you can see in the universe is Brahman. But this is the mode of inquiry. Let's continue. So now, Rishi concludes. Brahman, right now, we don't know what exactly it is. So you assume that it is Om or an X particle. They say Brahman is the fundamental building block of the universe. It exists in a cow, it exists in a mountain, it exists in a river, it exists in an ocean, it exists in you and me. So for the time being, let's make an assumption. What is that? That is known as Brahman, and that exists everywhere. And that is what exactly it is. We call it as Satta. That is the technical term, or Sat. Sat. Sat, the very definition of the Sanskrit language, means absolute existence. Why? We know that the tree exists. We know that the human being exists. We know that the mouse exists. We know that the computer exists. We know that a log of wood exists. Let's say that if you burn the log of wood, what is going to happen? The wood form may go, but something else exists. That is the X factor. Yes, ashes. Ashes has an existence. Something gives an existence to ashes. You may say that something becomes vapor. Yes, that vapor has an existence. Let's say that if you boil the water, it becomes vapor. Yes, the water ceased to exist, but the vapor form came into being. One form may turn into multiple form, but existence still there. I know that this is complicated, but if you really think about this, it's not that difficult to understand. See, even the law of conservation of matter, what is it? Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. You can transform it from one form or the other. The existence remains. But we know that the matter is not the fundamental reality of the universe. Even science tells what? The condensed energy is the matter. We know that. That is a famous E = mc square. That's a famous discovery. But even that also has existence. So the existence of anything, you see something exist, you have to take that existence, and whatever is that X factor which gives existence to everything in the universe is known as Brahman. With this definition, the Rishi makes a very bold statement which might be similar to a big statement in the modern science. The Rishi tells, this Brahman cannot be created nor destroyed. When this rule came into science? Science discovered when? Beginning of the 20th century. And what we are talking is 5,000 years ago. So Brahman can be neither created nor destroyed. It can only changes from one, the manifestation of the Brahman can change, it can be, the manifestations can only be transformed. Transformed is the right word, from one form or to the other. The manifestation can only be transformed. But in its essence, as existence, Brahman cannot be created nor be destroyed. This is the teaching. And this Brahman, one aspect of the Brahman we have seen, it is Satta, or the existence, absolute existence. Let's continue. Now, the problem is what? I can theoretically understand that there is an existence, but I cannot experience. So the Rishi tells the second aspect of the Brahman, which is going to be the next topic we are going to discuss. So the Rishi tells, see, if everything is Brahman, you are aware and you are directly experiencing something in you. What is that? Myself. Right? I don't have to tell you that you are not experiencing yourself. Right now you are sitting and listening and you are aware of yourself. If the existence of everything in this universe is Brahman, listen carefully, right? This is the trick. This is where the Upanishad gives the trick to experience the reality. The Upanishad tells, if everything you experience is Brahman, the experiencer or the observer is also Brahman, the reality. If all the things you are observing, everything you observed, if that is Brahman, reality, the observer is also Brahman, using the same logic, because there is nothing in this universe other than Brahman. If Brahman is everything in the universe, everything I observed is Brahman, then the observer is also Brahman. So then the Rishi tells, who is the observer, the real observer? It is the consciousness in you, Chittam. So first definition of Brahman was Sat. Now he tells, because the observer is also Brahman, the Chit in you is also Brahman. And the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad tells, Chit eva Sat. Sat eva Chit. Your consciousness is also Brahman, and the consciousness in you is the true existence of everything. With that finding, the Rishi tells, Aham. Aham means I. I means not as an individual I like Rajesh, but the consciousness in me is the Sat. The consciousness in me is the Sat, and Sat is Brahman. So therefore, Chit eva Sat. Therefore, Chit eva Brahman. Aham eva Chit. Therefore what? Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Brahman, the reality. This is how it comes in, right? I'm sure all of you might have heard this word, Aham Brahmasmi, but this is how it is derived in a step by step. Now, in the next session, next week, I don't want to do the both in one class. It is going to be too much. So next week, we are going to talk about the Chit aspect of the Brahman. Essentially, the second chapter is this, the analysis on Sat, analysis on Chit. So this is the second chapter. Aham Brahmasmi, Chit eva Sat, and Sat eva Brahman, Aham eva Chit, therefore Aham Brahmasmi. So let's go through the whole point in 5 minutes and then we can open up for Q&A. So the first point is we found the Srishti Prakriya. In the Srishti Prakriya, what we found is the entire universe is nothing but the manifestation of Brahman. Just like in a movie, everything in the movie is nothing but the light. Like that, everything in this universe is nothing but Brahman. You may not see the light in the movie, but we know that the top of the movie, everything is pervaded by light. That's it. And then we saw what we have directly access right now is the Karya Prapancha. And what we are trying to seek is Karanam Brahma. We said that Jagat or the Prapancha is Karyam, Brahma is Karanam. We also found that Karanam or the cause is one, the effects are many. We saw that the cause has independent existence, whereas the effects, the Prapancha, has dependent existence. We found that the cause perverts through the effect. The Brahman or that X factor perverts through that effect. With that understanding, the Upanishad tells, when you are trying to locate Brahman through the Karya Prapancha, you need to keep 4 things in your mind. That is the Lakshana of Brahman. Just like when a dog is lost, you publish the Lakshana or the characteristics of the dog for anybody to locate. Here the Upanishad publishes the Lakshana of the Brahman for you to check, right? So we saw like four Lakshanas, that is really important points. So the Upanishad tells it has to be Ekam, it has to be Nityam, it has to be Sarvagatam. Ekam means one thing that is found in all being. Nityam means that which is always present. Satyam means that which is independently existing. And Sarvagatam means that which is all pervading. So when you look at these characteristics with everything you can see in the universe, none of the objects will satisfy these Lakshana. So we found that what exactly satisfies is the existence of everything, the absolute existence of everything. So with that logical analysis, we conclude that Brahman is Sat, Sateva Brahmaha. That is the conclusion. Sat Eva Brahma. Brahman is the absolute existence of the universe. And then we found what we have access is the Karanam, Karya Prapancha. Karanam Brahma you are locating. And ultimately, since everything is Brahman, I myself is also Brahman. All the observed objects are Brahman. With that logic, the observer is also Brahman. And what is that observer? The consciousness in me. So the consciousness in me, which is the Chit, Chit eva Sat, Sat eva Chit. Sat is Brahman, Chit is Aham, so Aham Brahma Asmi. That's the summary. That's the topic we wanted to cover. So we understood Brahma is the cause of the universe. Brahman is the cause of the universe. And I don't know who is talking.
I think Arnav's, we have to mute it.
Arnav? Okay, let me see. Yes, it was Arnav.
Can you repeat the last one, like the forming to the Aham Brahmasmi?
Yeah. I'm going to repeat it. So let's repeat that point. So let me repeat that topic once again, right? So we said Brahman is Sat. How we came to the conclusion that Brahman is Sat? because we were looking for these 4 lakshanas in everything. The only thing satisfies in the universe that fits all these lakshana is the existence. So, Sat Eva Brahman. Then we try to look for that Sat in everything you are seeing. Since Sat covers everything, I found that the observer in me is also Sat. And who is the observer? Consciousness. And the observer is known as, the consciousness is known as Chit. Consciousness means, Chit means consciousness, the observer. So we said, Chit eva Sat, Sat eva Chit. Because everything exists is Brahman and the consciousness also exists. So the consciousness is also Brahman, Sat. So Sat eva Chit, Chit eva Sat. And Sat eva Brahman, so Chit eva Brahman. And then finally we concluded, Aham, me. Who is me? It is the consciousness. So Aham eva Chit, Chit eva Brahman, Chit eva Sat, and Sat eva Brahman. So with that transitive dependency, Aham Brahma Asmi. That is how it derived. Okay, so that's the topic we wanted to cover today. I know that's a very heavy topic. So just reflect on this, you'll get it. So let's do the chanting and then we can have discussions. And if you can do the Purnamada Purnamidam, we will go from there.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Pyo